Hey there, welcome to another episode of Brand Mavericks, the podcast that ignites your entrepreneurial spirit and guides you along the pathway to building your franchise empire. I'm Neal DiPentino, president of Titan Media Works, and your host for today's show. Hey, I'm so thrilled to have this guest with me today, Mary Pang. She is the director of franchise development for Forever Young. Mary, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Neal, for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we were talking a little bit offline, and I learned a little bit about you. And folks who are viewing this right now probably won't realize this, but you're actually 72 years old.
I am, believe it or not.
Man, that forever young stuff must really work.
It is. It's the magic elixir. It's right here. We found
Yeah.
it.
See, I'm just the opposite. I'm forever old because I'm like only 35 myself. And
We're doing a little Benjamin Button, like a little Benjamin Button situation.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wish it worked that way. Absolutely. So you're up in Connecticut today, and
Yeah.
you've got that beautiful springtime weather, kind of living the life and all, but you're really got a lot of great things going on in business too. And we want to really get into that, drill down on Forever Young and what you have going on there. But before we do, let's learn a little bit about yourself.
Sure. For sure. Yeah, so I am the director of franchise development with Forever Young today. I've been in franchising for 8 years, going on 9 years. And really, for me, this role is a full circle moment because I started in franchising 9 years ago at a franchise coaching consulting organization where we got to learn just how cool this industry is. What we get to do is we're helping people get into business ownership through franchising. And I got to see firsthand what the discovery process looks like, and just how many awesome franchise opportunities there are out there. I then moved into a role where I was educating and helping clients build out their funding strategy at a top-rated funding resource in franchising as well. So that was really cool to be able to help clients and bring their dreams to fruition from the funding side. And now I sit in the franchise development role, where I'm talking with these candidates that I'm going to help get into business, which is the coolest thing. So I love franchising. The franchising bug bit me pretty early, and I'm excited to be here today talking with you about.
I can definitely tell that you're excited about what you do. That's great. And I think also having the experience of, from a coaching standpoint, from a consultancy standpoint, I mean, that gives you a different kind of perspective that maybe some other people who do what you do wouldn't have necessarily.
Every day I'm grateful for it. I've seen it's just given me a really, really good perspective on the candidate that's going through this process, and then how can I serve them the best? How can I help them get what they need? So
I like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I have, in all transparency, have no idea what Forever Young is. So we're going to let you tell us a little bit about that franchise.
Absolutely. So Forever Young, we are a whole body vitality center. So what that means is that we're helping people look better and feel better, starting with the inside out. So we're not just focusing on, the aesthetic side of the business, which would be like your Botox, your fillers, hydrofacials, microdermabrasion, things that, impact the outside of what you look like. But we're also really focusing and taking a holistic approach to the performance and vitality side of fitness and wellness, or health and wellness, which is, making sure your adrenals, your thyroid functions, hormone levels are balanced so that truly people are feeling better and showing up better. And we have a solution for whatever they might be looking to improve.
So I would imagine this is primarily a brick and mortar type business then?
This is a brick and mortar business. Think, it's going to go close to your Orange Theories, your Starbucks, your Club Pilates, that type of an area. So high-end retail, someone's going to walk in, it's going to feel very elevated. It's going to feel very 5-star hospitality, very, it's not going to have that clinical medical, doctor's office feel to it. It's going to feel very warm and welcoming, but professional.
More of a studio boutique type scenario. And then you also sell products in there as well as services?
Yeah, we do. Yep. So we have our own supplement line that's been third-party tested for ingredient potency and efficacy. People can also purchase, clinical grade skincare like SkinCeuticals, Abashi, things like that.
So who would be a good candidate to invest in a franchise with your company?
Yeah, so we're looking for, I call them your health focused Bob the Builders. So this is someone, they are a team builder, they are a business builder. So they're going to have either business ownership experience or franchise ownership experience, and they're going to have experience building and leading teams. Or if they haven't ever owned a business before, they've have a very strong professional track record. So think CEOs, COOs that still have that, that experience under their belt. This is also going to be someone who is health focused. They have an interest. They don't have to be a bodybuilder, but they do have to, prioritize health. They're living a healthy lifestyle, and where that comes from is they understand the impact that these products and services can have, and they're very excited about bringing that impact into their community. And then lastly, this is someone who has a mindset to scale. And there's two different types of people that fit into this category. So the first would be someone who's starting out as an owner operator to begin with. And we would say the first 12 to 18 months, you're in the business. You're
Hmm.
probably in that general manager role. Maybe you're in the wellness specialist role where you're the salesperson, attracting clients into your business. You're doing community engagement. So that first 12 to 18 months, they're in it. But
Hmm.
this is a model that scales. We have 3 corporate locations that are pretty much running themselves at this point. We have multi-unit franchisees. And so the idea is not that someone stays in that owner-operator role, but that they evolve into a manage the manager role as they expand their location or start growing into multiple locations. So that's the first way. The second mindset to scale is an empire builder or a master franchisee. And when I say an empire builder, this is someone who has built tens, dozens of locations with other brands and are now looking to do it again with Forever Young. And I can give an example on both. So one of our newest franchisees, he just sold his company for $15 million. He's buying multiple territories with Forever Young because he sees the impact of, he believes in the products and services. He understands the growth in the anti-aging industry. And he's excited to build something, again, of that scale. We're also talking with people who are multi-unit franchise operators in, brands like Five Guys, Zaxby's Chicken, Crumble Cookies, Hand and Stone, and sometimes they're
Hmm.
operating in multiple states. So they also have that experience under their belt. Of course, we're not going to ask them to be the general manager in the single location if they've got that track record, but we absolutely want to talk to them too.
The only thing that I didn't hear you mention, and when I first started, talking with you, I was thinking in the back of my mind that this would be something for a practitioner who could maybe transition their existing business into a franchise to get more support. I mean, is that an option as well?
It could, we'll have that conversation as well. We'd want to see, like if they have their own doctor's office, that could be an easy transition as well. So we'll talk to those folks for sure.
Okay, fantastic. So when we're talking the boutique, the units, how many units are you all up to right now in terms of
Yeah.
franchises?
Yep. So we are at 139 licenses awarded. We have 39 locations open, and
Nice.
we're opening around 2 to 3 new locations a month. So by the end of this year, we're going to double in size.
And how old is the company?
The company is 10 years old, so we're celebrating our 10th anniversary, but we've been franchising since 2019. So going on.
Okay.
Yep.
So relatively new in the franchise world, but if you
Yeah.
have an established brand, that's awesome. So, and
Yeah.
it sounds like you have an established concept as well, which is obviously very important.
Absolutely.
So, when you're looking for a new franchise prospect, I mean, what is the process that you go through with somebody? I mean, obviously, you want to make sure that you get the right person. Not
Mhm.
only, are they you're looking to vet you, but you're looking to vet them as well. So, what does that process look like?
Yeah, it's absolutely a mutual evaluation process. And so for us, I would say it's 3 different phases. So that first phase is education and information gathering. That will be that they're jumping on a couple of calls with me to chat through our brand overview, the business model, where we fit in the market, what our services are. Then we'll get into validation. And this is the most important part of the process. This is where they're going to get to talk with franchisees directly. And, we welcome them to chat with anyone in the FTD and get to hear firsthand what their experience has been, what their first year was like, what their 5th year has been like, and really manage expectations that way. And then phase 3 is meeting the team. So that starts with a founder's call where they'll get to talk with our founders directly, ask them any questions. They'll also jump on a CEO call with our CEOs, Dan and James, and, ask them any questions as well. And then we'll invite them down to Discovery Day. And our Discovery Day is in Boca Raton, Florida. So it's really a tough ask to get people to come down.
I don't know how you do it.
I know, it's like pulling teeth, but we ask them to come down to Boca Raton for 2 days. And it's really their chance to experience the brand and the team firsthand. So they'll tour the flagship location. They'll get to see where everything started and also where things are going. They're expanding that location, which is so cool to help. We're growing our support team as well. So they'll just get to see the continued growth of that. They get to tour one of our manufacturing facilities of one of our top vendors that we have an excellent relationship with. So they get to see behind the scenes. And then, of course, dinner and get to hear from the leadership team on how they're going to be supported.
Okay. So when you open up a location, a boutique or a studio, what type of, now, do the people who are working inside that location, do they have to be licensed, or do they have to be practitioners with some kind of experience, some kind of training, or do you provide all that for them as being part of the franchise?
Good question. So the franchise owner does not need to have any medical background. They don't need to be a doctor. Some of the people on their team will need to have some certification. So, for example, they will have a medical director. So they need to be an MD or a DO in some states. And the medical director is a remote role. So they don't have to be on the location physically. Their main role is going to be reviewing blood work and signing off on prescriptions. So a lot of people in that role, they're managing their own practices or keeping their day jobs. But we can assist them with that. We have a network of licensed physicians in every state that could act as their medical directors too. So we assist with that process. We'll also help them with the screening process. We'll jump on calls with them to make sure that someone is, going to be a good candidate for that. They also are going to have a nurse practitioner or an ARNP that's acting as their injector. And so that person is going to be doing all of the clinical procedures like your Botox, your fillers, IV drips, vitamin injections, etc. And then you'll have a skincare esthetician, our medical esthetician, and that person is going to be handling all of the skincare consults, so your hydrofacials, dermabrasions, things like that. Those are the 3 certified folks that you'll need. In addition to that, you'll have your sales role, which doesn't need to have any certification or special licensing, and then your front desk person, your medical assistant, etc.
Okay, so what kind of support and training do you provide your franchisees with once they get rocking and rolling?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hitting the ground running from the get-go. So one thing is we help them with actually getting their sites open. And that's something, we work with a company called Repum. And they've got a brand called the Build 'em division, or they have a division called the Build 'em team. And their whole purpose is, you can think of them as the in-house project management team. So they're facilitating the entire build-out process from site selection, lease negotiation, bidding for a general contractor, managing the GC, all the way through construction and build out until the doors are open. So we assist them with the build out process. We also, they're going to get very comprehensive training. That means, 1 week at the Forever Young Institute for them and their general manager, or for, others on their team. We'll also come out to their location for 3 days before opening. And then they also have direct access to our vendors, and their vendors will come out and provide up to date, and continuous training as well. In a nutshell. And then from an ongoing perspective, there are weekly calls, quarterly calls. They'll have an accountability, a business manager helping them as they're ramping up. They'll be able to share best practices with other franchisees. So really the support is there. And what I can say is and what they'll hear during validation is our founders, our leadership team is extremely hands-on. And if someone needs help, they will meet them there.
Okay, fantastic. So as an operator, what is the process for getting clients into the building?
This is going to be a two-pronged approach. So there's going to be a lot of digital marketing and local grassroots marketing. Digital marketing, Facebook, social media, Instagram, that's going to be a big driver for getting people through the doors. And then a lot of community engagement is going to be needed as well. So that means, maybe sponsoring 5Ks or sponsoring your kid's sports team, sometimes doing maybe like an IV drip giveaway. So getting out into the community, making, strong referral partnerships with gyms and salons and hair salons and things of that nature are going to be important as well.
Okay, and so does your company provide any kind of like pre-opening type marketing, advertising to try to drive traffic before the business is actually open?
Of course. Yep. So we'll have a whole, marketing playbook for someone based on practices that our founders have used and developed over their 10 years of doing business and in opening 3 locations.
Okay, so then the operator actually is responsible for that. You don't have anybody in-house that necessarily handles the marketing and advertising, or at least the advertising component of that.
Yeah. So on the digital marketing side, absolutely. We have
Oh, okay.
we'll be providing collateral. We'll be helping them with turning on their digital marketing. On the local grassroots side of things, of course, no one, the franchise owner is going to be responsible for being the figure in their community.
Cool. Well, I think it's important, for any franchisee, to have that kind of support, because not all of us are as technically inclined as I am at my age.
Yeah.
At least I know where the record button is. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's really helpful because a lot of people really seriously don't understand digital marketing and everything. So it's
Mhm.
great to have that kind of support from a company like yours. So let's talk about the money part of it a little bit if we can. First of all, what kind of footprint would an operator have to have, and in terms of employees, number of employees that they would have to have at their facility?
Yeah. So typically it's 1,800 to 2,000 square feet. In that high end retail, it's going to be in a physical space like we talked about. And then as far as employees go, they'll likely start with a leaner team. So maybe 4 or 5 people to begin with. They'll likely be playing the role of the general manager in the typical model, or the wellness specialist. And then, let's say 2 or 3 years down the road, they might have 8 or so folks on their staff.
Are most of the facilities, are they like within strip centers? Are they freestanding, or where would you find a location?
Yeah, I think like in your strip malls, so that foot traffic is really important. It just, they're beautiful facilities. So we want to be in high traffic areas, think anchored next to your Whole Foods, next to your Orange Theories, your Club Pilates, where people walking by to get their nails done or to go do their fitness session. They're going to see us and maybe they'll stop by just to get their Botox done, that type of a thing.
Well, that kind of makes a lot of sense because you can stop, get really healthy food, and then get your nails done, then get a
Mhm.
little workout in, then go and do, what you
Yeah.
guys do. I mean, so really that all makes perfect, all in one spot. I like
Yeah,
that.
and that's because what we're finding is this is a lifestyle, right? And so our
Hmm.
typical demographic of customer is about 34 to 54 years old,
Okay.
but that age range is expanding on both sides across both men and women. This is just becoming a part of the conversation. It's not for the rich and famous anymore. This is something that is accessible and that people are interested in. They prioritize this. And
Yeah.
so, this isn't it is, they're going to stop in, they're going to get their IV drip when they're not feeling good on their way to go pick up their groceries. So that's absolutely
Nice.
what we're doing.
Sounds like a plan. I like that. I probably could use an IV drip right now. Been a morning, I'm going to tell you. So let's talk investments. I mean, what are we looking at? If you don't mind, initial investment, and what would it take for me as a sole proprietor to actually buy into your franchise?
Yeah. So what people will see in the FDD is that our initial investment for a single location is 354,500 to 724,500.
Okay, and that really depends on the location and the build out and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff too. All right, and
Yeah.
then fantastic. And as far as operating capital, what kind of operating capital are we looking at?
So we'll want someone to have at least 400,000 liquidity, 1
Mhm.
million net worth, and of course, strong credit.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, well, listen, that was all. This has all been really great information. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
you've been a fabulous guest, and I appreciate you being on the show. But we're not quite done yet. Before we get finished with this thing, though, I would like you to, if you wouldn't mind, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that. This was really fun, and I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today as well, Neal. I would just say, Forever Young, this is a concept that the global wellness industry is a $1.4 trillion industry. In the United States alone, it's a $480 billion industry. This thing is not going anywhere. The growth in the industry, we're seeing it now. We've seen it over the last 10 years, and we are very well positioned to continue riding that wave. Everything that we're doing in-house, we're doing with integrity, making sure that, we're operating at the highest level, even if this industry can be a little bit unregulated still. So all of our products are FDA approved if they can be. We have that third-party supplement, tested supplement line. Any of our products and services have been approved by our medical director, our chief medical officer. And so we're doing things right. We're very excited to continue growing and to keep riding this wave and helping people look and feel their best.
Fantastic. I think, as you were saying all this, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking there's probably people out there who have tried to go alone on this type of a concept, and all of the things that you provide them, I mean, really helps them to get to, from beginning to startup to making a nice ROI much quicker than they would if they tried to do it on their own. Plus, all of the, just the compliance and all the licensing and all the, educational parts of it. I mean, you guys provide a lot of information, a lot of support to your franchisees, and I love that.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. So if our audience would be interested in finding out more about Forever Young, or if would they like getting in contact with you, Mary, how would they go about doing that?
They can reach out to me directly. I can provide you with my email, or I can say it on here. It's marypeng@repmgroup.com, REPM group.com. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn or however is easiest, and we'll definitely get them in touch.
Well, fantastic. Listen, you've been a great guest. I appreciate you being on the show. And again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Neal. Appreciate it. Loved this.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, thank you so much for being with us today. So thrilled you could be here. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Brand Mavericks is sponsored by Titan Media Works, providing podcast production and guest booking services for those who want to be in the podcasting space. Check us out at titanmediaworks.com. That's work spelled WORX. And please check out all of our other great hosts at Small Business Deliver Network at smallbusinessdeliver.com. Hey, be sure to tune in for more Brand Mavericks coming your way soon. And remember, keep on building your empire. Thanks and have a great day.